Donnie Yen, from a martial arts enthusiast as a boy, has risen to become one of the biggest martial arts stars on the planet. He created his own style, his own path, unlike anyone else in the world. He grew up in a family where his mother is the renowned martial arts master Bao Sim-mark. At a young age, influenced by his mother, he developed an interest in martial arts and began experimenting with various styles, including Tai Chi and other traditional Chinese martial arts. At that time, his family was settling in the United States. Yen meanwhile neglected his studies, joined a gang, and often got into fights. That made his parents worried, so they brought him back to China. Returning to his hometown, he followed the path of a wushu fighter and trained with the Beijing Wushu team. The opportunity to enter the film industry opened up for him when, through an acquaintance's introduction, he was invited by director Yuan Wuping to audition for a stunt role in the film Shaolin Drunkard. The first film in which Donnie Yen played the lead role was Drunken Tai Chi, when he was 21 years old. This film is about the martial art of Tai Chi. It wasn't a major success, but it did introduce Yen's name to the audience. After the first film, he acted in more films, but mostly in supporting roles. In 1992, Donnie Yen brought a different perspective to audiences with his two villainous roles in Once Upon a Time in China Part 2 and New Dragon Gate In. Once Upon a Time in China Part 2 was also the first film Yen collaborated with Jet Li. The fight between Nap Lan and Wang Fei Hung, utilizing various weapons such as knives and clubs, created stunning martial arts moves that later became one of the most memorable martial arts film scenes in history. 1993 marked a turning point in Donnie Yen's career, with his leading role in the film Iron Monkey. The film centers on a masked martial artist named Iron Monkey, who is actually Dr. Yang Qianchen, a traditional Chinese medicine physician. By day, Yang treats the poor for free and charges the rich, while by night, as Iron Monkey, he steals from corrupt officials and redistributes wealth to the needy, like a Robin Hood figure. The corrupt governor of the town is desperate to capture him. Donnie Yen plays Wang Keiying, a traveling physician and martial artist who arrives in the town with his young son Wang Fei Hung. Mistakenly suspected of being Iron Monkey, Wang Keiying fights Iron Monkey without knowing his true identity. Though initially adversaries, Wang Keiying and Iron Monkey eventually team up to take down a greater threat, a traitorous Shaolin monk named Hin Hung who seizes power as the new governor. They work together to rescue Wang Fei Hung and defeat Hin Hung in an intense final showdown. Iron Monkey was a major success, continuing the series about the legendary character Wang Fei Hung. For Donnie Yen, the film elevated him to the ranks of martial arts stars in Hong Kong cinema. In 2002, Donnie Yen participated in the blockbuster film Hero directed by Zhang Yimou together with Jet Li, Tony Leung and Maggie Cheung. Director Zhang, who is known for being strict, showed great admiration for Yen's martial arts performance in this film. Donnie Yen first played the role of Chen Jin in the television series Fist of Fury produced by ATV in 1995. He reprised his role as Chen Jin in the 2010 film Legend of the Fist, The Return of Chen Jin, replacing Jet Li, who starred as Chen Jin in the prequel film Fist of Legend, which was released in 1994. In the film, Chen Jin becomes a masked superhero who battles Japanese forces and their collaborators to protect Chinese anti-Japanese activists and prevent a civil war instigated by Japanese plans to assassinate General Zheng. He fights against Japanese spies and assassins, including Colonel Takeshi, the leader of the Japanese spy agency in Shanghai. Donnie Yen was also the fight choreographer for this film. He included Jeet Kune Do elements as a tribute to the American actor and martial artist Bruce Lee, who played Chen Jin in the 1970 film Fist of Fury. Furthermore, he incorporated many MMA elements in the film, coupled with the use of Wing Chun. In 2017, Donnie Yen collaborated with Andy Lau for the first time in the film Chasing the Dragon. Set in 1963 during British colonial rule over Hong Kong, the plot follows Ho, an illegal immigrant from mainland China who arrives in Hong Kong seeking a better life. Ho quickly becomes involved in the city's dangerous underground world. With his fighting skills and determination, he rises to become a ruthless and powerful drug lord, known as Crippled Ho, dominating the drug trade. Throughout the film, Ho navigates conflicts with rival gangs, corrupt police officers, and colonial authorities, particularly forming a complicated alliance with Lee Rock, a corrupt police officer. Donnie Yen was invited to choreograph fight scenes in Hollywood films, such as Highlander Endgame and Blade 2. He also participated in several films, including Blade 2, Shanghai Nights, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Mulan. XXX, Return of Xander Cage, was perhaps the first Hollywood film where Donnie Yen's role was significant and takes up a large amount of screen time. He played an agent who was initially opposed to Vin Diesel's role, but they later become friends. The film was a major box office success, with revenue approximately 4 times the production cost. Join the globally famous John Wick franchise in Part 4. Donnie Yen plays the role of Kane, a blind, highly skilled assassin who is an old friend of John Wick. Kane is compelled out of retirement by the High Table to kill John Wick, in exchange for the safety of his daughter. It can be said that a new chapter in Donnie Yen's career opened when he met director Wilson Yip. The two collaborated on at least 7 films, each of which was famous and left a lasting impression. SPL Chapeau Lang. The film focused on the gritty conflict between a determined police detective Chen Kwok-chung and ruthless triad boss Wang Po. Chan is diagnosed with a fatal brain tumor, which makes him increasingly ruthless in his final days trying to bring down Wang Po. Donnie Yen plays Ma Kwon, a skilled and principled police officer from another precinct, assigned to replace Chan. Ma initially clashes with Chan's team over their questionable tactics, but eventually gets pulled into their dangerous fight against the Triad. As the Triad boss dispatches a deadly assassin named Jack to eliminate Chan's team, Ma becomes involved in intense martial arts battles to protect Chan and his team. After the assassin Jack is eliminated by Ma in a fierce showdown, Ma faces off against Wang Po in a brutal fight. Ma is thrown off a building by Wang Po and lands on the car carrying Wang's wife and his baby son. All 3 are killed instantly. Wang Po finally pays for his crimes with the death of his wife and baby. After the success of SPL Chapeau Lang, the duo continued to collaborate on Dragon Tiger Gate and then Flashpoint. These films have all received numerous nominations and awards. And finally, when it comes to Donnie Yen, you can't miss the global blockbuster series IP Man. The 4 IP Man films, directed by Wilson Yip, have made Donnie Yen a global star. The first films set in Foshan, China, during the late 1930s, and the Second Sino-Japanese War. IP Man is a respected Wing Chun grandmaster, a humble yet highly skilled martial artist from a wealthy family. As the Japanese invade Foshan, IP Man's family loses their home when the Japanese military commandeers it for their use, forcing him to work at a coal mine to support his family. When the Japanese take hostages and threaten the workers, he surrenders himself to protect his family and challenges General Miura to a fight, refusing to train the Japanese soldiers. He triumphs in the public match despite being shot by a Japanese soldier during the scuffle that follows. Amidst the chaos, he escapes with his family to Hong Kong, where he eventually establishes a Wing Chun school and teaches future legendary martial artists. Part 2 continues the story of IP Man after relocating with his family to Hong Kong in 1949. He initially has difficulty attracting students due to lack of local reputation. Wang Lung leads a group of students who become IP Man's first disciples. As his school grows, conflict arises with rival martial arts groups, particularly the Hungga school led by Master Hung Chun Nam. Hung and IP Man clash in a test of skill ending in a draw but establishing mutual respect. The main antagonist emerges as a corrupt British police superintendent, who uses Western boxing champion Taylor the Twister Miller to challenge Chinese martial arts. In a climactic match, IP Man takes on Twister in a brutality-filled fight that highlights the cultural and martial divide, but ultimately triumphs through skill and strategy. The film ends with IP Man gaining respect for Wing Chun in Hong Kong and meeting a young Bruce Lee, hinting at his future legacy. Part 3 continues with the main conflict arises when a corrupt American property developer named Frank targets the school attended by IP Man's son, aiming to acquire the land for his own interests. Frank employs local triad leader Ma King-sang to intimidate the school and its community. IP Man stands up to this threat by protecting the school and uniting the local martial artists to fight back against the gangsters. Meanwhile, IP Man's wife is diagnosed with cancer, and he struggles to balance his role as a martial arts master and family man. A new character, Chun Tin-chi, a talented martial artist, challenges IP Man publicly, leading to a fierce duel to determine the true Wing Chun grandmaster. Part 4 follows IP Man after the death of his wife and his diagnosis with throat cancer. Concerned about his rebellious son IP Ching, who was expelled from school in Hong Kong, he travels to San Francisco seeking better education opportunities. In San Francisco, IP Man discovers that his famous student Bruce Lee has stirred tensions by teaching Wing Chun to non-Chinese students, angering the local Chinese martial arts community led by Tai Chi master Wan Zonghua. IP Man tries to navigate this hostility while advocating for acceptance and respect for Bruce Lee's progressive approach. Alongside these conflicts, an American Marine instructor named Barton Geddes opposes the inclusion of Chinese martial arts in military training, leading to a series of confrontations between Chinese martial artists and Marines. Geddes challenges the masters, eventually fighting IP Man after a prolonged conflict. The movie ends with IP Man turning down an offer to stay in America, returning to Hong Kong to continue teaching Wing Chun and embracing his son's martial arts path before his death of cancer. The success of the IP Man film series had an immense impact on Donnie Yen's career, catapulting him from a well-known martial arts actor to an international superstar. He himself credited this series with not only elevating his career but also changing his life, acknowledging that the films helped him gain global fame and opened doors for numerous subsequent projects. Donnie Yen's journey from a young martial arts enthusiast to a global icon stands as a testament to dedication and passion. His groundbreaking performances, especially as IP Man, have not only redefined martial arts cinema but also inspired millions worldwide. It can be said that he is an ambassador who spreads Chinese culture around the world, and those legacies will last forever for future generations.